25 years ago today, the episode Perchance to Dream aired for Batman the Animated Series, October 19th, 1992. Hello friends, I'm Andy Knode, and welcome to the show where we take a look at Batman the Animated Series, episode by episode, on the anniversary of their original air dates, 25 years later. If you're new here and you're looking for a place to hang out because you are a fan of Batman the Animated Series and continue to be a huge fan of Batman today, then this is the place for you. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss an episode as they come out.
I fell into that trap like an amateur.
Today we're talking about a fan favorite episode, Perchance to Dream. This is an episode that ranks very high on a lot of people's lists as a favorite episode or considered one of the best episodes. In fact, Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, has even gone on record to say that this is his personal favorite episode. So there's a lot to talk about in this episode. So we're going to get started right after I give you the 45-second rundown, hopefully, of the episode. Batman is in a high-speed car chase with his Batmobile and some bad guys, and he walks right into a trap and sees all these sparkles, and then he wakes up as Bruce Wayne and doesn't know how he get there. And when he starts mentioning things to Alfred thinks that's strange, and he tries to find the Batcave behind the clock, and it's not there, and he goes, "What's going on?" And then his father and mother, who are dead, walk into the room. They're not dead in this, that they walk in alive, and he's shocked that they are alive, and he doesn't know what's going on. But apparently when he asks Alfred says that he's set up to marry Selina Kyle and doesn't know anything about Batman. He goes to the office, he has a meeting, and when he's there, Selina Kyle comes and talks to him, and they spot Batman, who's somebody else, some mysterious man that has come to town to save them just a couple of weeks ago. He goes to see Leslie Thompson to see what's going on, and she says, oh, maybe his alter ego is just something that he has repressed in his mind, so he embraces this newfound state that the nightmare is over. He doesn't have to worry about being Batman, and his parents are still alive, and we're all excited, except he can't read. So then he lures Batman to the clock tower and finds out that the Batman is the Mad Hatter, because the Mad Hatter has him in a machine, causing him to dream this, and tries to give him the perfect life so that he'll stay out of his life so he can do whatever he wants. And he's able to get out of the dream by jumping off of the edge of the clock tower, and he wakes up and takes down Mad Hatter, and Commissioner Gordon hauls him off. There's no way. I didn't think so.
Perhaps morning coffee will clear the cobwebs.
So there is a lot to unpack to this episode. Normally, when I'm rewatching these episodes, I have out my iPad and I'm sitting there taking notes as I go. And this one's completely blank. I got so engrossed in the episode that I didn't even take any notes. So I'm winging it right now.
You know what I'm talking about.
I think one of the reasons that this episode is so dear to so many people is because the plot is really inventive. The idea of being trapped inside of a dream and for Bruce Wayne to be dealing with not being Batman seems like the perfect life, that his parents are now alive and he doesn't have to worry about being Batman. He's engaged to marry Selina Kyle, who's not Catwoman and not a villain, but things are just off and he's missing something.
No, it's impossible. No, it can't be you. It can't be.
For a Batman fan, it says a lot about the dynamics between Bruce Wayne and Batman, the alter ego kind of persona of Batman needing Bruce Wayne and Bruce Wayne needing Batman. There's a shot of him sitting at the office of Wayne Enterprises, high atop the towers of Wayne Enterprises, and he's bored out of his mind because he's driven to do something more than just be the head of this huge corporation.
Well, sir, it's a leisurely existence, I admit. But there are worse lives.
I think for me personally, one of the elements of this that caught my attention so much, even when I was younger, was just that idea of being stuck inside of a dream. I think we've all had those dreams that seem real when you're having them, and or nightmares that you're trying to wake up from. So I think watching that and seeing Bruce Wayne go through that exact thing of not being able to wake up from the dream, like, hit really close to home, because I know what that feels like. And one of my favorite parts of this episode is when he finally confronts Batman on top of the clock tower, that hopelessness of, now you've attracted Batman there, which, first of all, that's a feat in itself. But now what do you do? How do you wake up? You know it's a dream. Now how do you wake up?
Make it stop. Bring me back.
So we just had the first episode of the Mad Hatter just 2 episodes ago. Now is his second appearance. I almost wonder if, when Roddy McDowall was in the studio, if they just had him record the handful of lines for this episode, and that's why they were put out so close together.
No! Just a figment of your imagination.
The story is strong no matter who the villain is, no matter who is doing this to him. But I think it makes a whole lot of sense that it is the Mad Hatter, because the whole Wonderland dream state, lost inside of this fantasy world is very Mad Hatter-esque. So I think that makes a lot of sense. Truly, it's almost kind of a continuation of Mad as a Hatter, because Batman got in his way and prevented him from being with Alice as he wanted to. And the whole plan of that episode went up in smokes when Batman got involved. So this almost seems like a continuation of it when he says,
"You ruined my life! I was willing to give you whatever life you wanted, just to keep you out of mine!"
Something else that's worth mentioning is, now we're several episodes into the series, and I think that this is one of the first episodes where I feel that Kevin Conroy has really hitting a great stride with Batman. This one he's definitely featured more as Bruce Wayne, and we hear this great dynamic in his voice of the different emotions that Bruce Wayne is going through.
No! I won't live a lie, no matter how attractive you make it.
And then we also hear him speak for Thomas Wayne, Bruce Wayne's father.
You certainly seem like your old self again, Bruce.
3 characters' voices in this, of predominant characters in this episode, and they're all very distinctive. But I think what's really featured well is all the different emotions and the different levels and dynamics to his voice as Bruce Wayne.
I feel as if I'm someone else. It's crazy, but I know I'm
Batman.
Also, speaking of voice actors, the cop and the reporter in this episode, the voice sounded really familiar.
"We know you're up there, Mr. Wayne. We don't want to hurt you. We just want to talk."
And I had to look it up to see who it was, and it's Brian Cummings. Brian Cummings, not Jim Cummings, Brian Cummings, who incidentally, as I was looking this up, are not related. 2 voice actors, both named Cummings, one Jim, one Brian, not related. But no, Brian Cummings that voice is so familiar, because he not only does a lot of character voice acting, but also as the announcer, and does a lot of voiceover work for like trailers. I think he did all the Disney and animated movie trailers, which was, so once I saw that, then absolutely that's where I heard his voice.
And now, our feature presentation.
So when it came time to rank this episode, very solid episode. Obviously, the story and the writing of this is exquisite. I don't think I've used that word before. Exquisite. That's kind of fun. And the voice talents in this episode are amazing. And I have to say that this is an episode, although the Mad Hatter is in it, he's not featured throughout the episode. He only comes in at the end. It's an episode that I would say kind of falls into that category of not having a primary villain or a rogues gallery villain featured throughout the episode. And it holds up without one, because it's really the bulk of the story is a personal story between Bruce Wayne dealing with not being Batman. Just that concept in itself is pretty amazing. So naturally, this episode is going to fall in my top 10 list. And as of right now, I placed it at the number 4 slot favorite episodes that I have reviewed so far, beating out Joker's Favor, which I was surprised by, but I think that Joker's Favor, although has a great performance from Mark Hamill and a great introduction to the Joker, this story is I think just so much more relatable in the sense, although neither one of those stories have ever happened to me. This one seems more relatable in the sense of being able to connect with being stuck inside of a dream, or having a dream that you think is real and can't get out of.
This is a dream, and you're the one responsible. A dream?
So where does this one fall on your list? Is this the top of your list? Is this your favorite episode? Or is it somewhere lower? I don't know of many people that absolutely do not like this episode, but I'd love to hear from you. If you're somebody that just doesn't like this episode at all, let me know that as well.
Pardon me, sir, none of my business.
If this is a joke, Alfred, it's not funny.
If you enjoyed this episode, please click the like button. And thank you so much for watching this. And our next episode coming up is The Underdwellers, coming out on Saturday, October 22nd. So be sure to stick around for that and click the subscribe button so that you know about that. And as always, I'm Andy Knode, and I will see you on Saturday.